Welcome back to Effective Evolution. And today we're with Ganymede, a moon of Jupiter. And in the first panorama, we're going to go over PIA 02281. And then the other panorama would be Ganymede's PIA 25028. And we'll use the usual probing techniques and augment the panorama with various transformation tools or whatnot. And you'll notice some very interesting design structures, patterns that have implications for the creations on Ganymede and the types of people that would be involved with this type of architecture outside of Mother Nature, of course. And please have an open mind and go ahead and come up with your thoughts and ideas. And please enjoy. So we're with Ganymede today, and this is PIA 02281. This is the view, two of them, one here and one here. And if we make some adjustments, you'll come across some very vivid structures. Seem to have dimensional positioning, different layers or whatnot on the surface of Ganymede. And after we get more acquainted with the panoramas, we'll be able to come up with some ideas or whatnot. Just notice these structures. Seem to be, originally you might think, well, yeah, it's just a crater. There's nothing in there. But as usual, some craters can be very deceptive. We've seen this on Mars. This is Ganymede. And if we flip this around a bit, you can see that the structure inside this alcove or whatnot, with the shadows around it. And up here as well, there seems to be another structure. And there seems to be more shadows here, opening various lines. Some people would say, yeah, well, these are some types of highways or roadways, quote, for the Ganymede environment. And seems to be some elevation of objects as well. But we'll explore a bit further with this. Some of the areas of Ganymede, PIA 02281, that we'll focus on. And please note the detail of various objects. And this object seems to be in this chasm of some sort. Is it attached inside to the underside of this chasm? What exactly is this? Interesting structures up here as well. And here is denoted with the highlighting. Other areas here to consider. And there are many more of these, of course. Before you know it, you'll more than likely come across some detail that you find noticeable. To, to bring out the darker areas of PIA 02281 of Ganymede would be this area here. And zooming in a bit, we can notice that there are some structures that are quite noticeable now. Not to mention, at the other depths, quote, of the landscape, and is this section here composed of dendritic designs that seem to connect the outer layers to the upper layers. Just look at the joining point of this array of linear patterns here and the connection. Just look at the design. Circular, seems to be a tunnel here, judging by the shadows there. Interconnecting pathways here into this giant highway here. And structures all over the place. And of course, this will become more familiar with you as you continue to go over the various areas of Ganymede here. Just notice the symmetry and patterns. This, that, to imply an advanced life form being involved with this topography of Ganymede. With this panorama of Ganymede, PIA 02281. And there are remarkable structures here. Some of them seem to be elevated off of the surface, and other structures on other levels, all over the place. And what are these objects and items, linear patterns? Do they denote some other form of civilization of an extraterrestrial nature? The shadows definitely bring out some more detail. And this is another part of Ganymede with PA02281. Notice these little patterns here, towering structures here as well. Up here of the transformation gadgets to augment this panorama of Ganymede 02281. This is the product, and zooming in a bit, just try to notice all of the structures that we've come across so far, and you can probably see some more detail, that is, more depth on the surface, and perhaps more structures. For example, here, this looks like a pathway of some sort with a groove in the center and two walls to facilitate security support for whatever is traveling inside of it or whatnot. This could be a whole bunch of those roads or routes or whatnot. And there's that object we noticed before, other objects of symmetry all over the place. Some structures that seem to be towering over the surface of Ganymede. Could this be some type of vehicle? Is it just a structure? Here there seems to be an arch of some type of structure leading into this section here and being joined in this direction. Very symmetrical patterns of design here. And on the other side of this pic, we see some more structures. This looks like some type of circular dish with a body that has a linear design to it. And of course, all of these seem to be structures in here. Please make a note of all of this and click a like, perhaps, and come up with some of your ideas or whatnot. There's some patterns of routes and pathways, roads, and whatnot. Seems to be some structures here. Depth, shadows, different layers, just amazing. Is to rotate this a bit to get another vantage point and see various areas of design in here. Are these vehicles, buildings, Something to do with nuclear fission, nuclear reactors. Just mesmerizing. This is Ganymede PIA 02281 with the dodge tool, which would bring out the lighter areas of the panorama. And of course, the structures we noted are there. They just seem to be more prominent, probably because we're more familiar with the surface and the array of the terrain or whatnot, and those objects with symmetry, linear patterns are still there, adding to the delight of our exploration. And with this other section, you can notice some intertwining others in here as well. Ganymede PIA 02281 with the contrast and brightness tool. And this is what we produce. Now you can notice some more standout structures, quote, so to speak, that do appear to be above the surface considerably, indicating various levels on Ganymede with the ice and snow and whatnot. And there's that object we noted earlier on. What exactly could this be? Is it something that involves nuclear fusion? Are these manufacturing settlements or whatnot? Are these some type of routes or roadways? And are we looking at a topography that has interconnecting tunnels or whatnot? And are these entrance and exit areas or whatnot? And are these strictly craters? Just notice how uniform they are. They all seem to have gadgets, equipment, or whatnot inside of them. Would it be mining equipment? Would it be manufacturing elements or whatnot? And just let your eyes adjust on these areas. Are we looking at areas of development, i.e., quote, industrial areas on Mars that are involved in some type of activity that were there previously or might be there now and are set up for the future as well? And are these routes for transportation of some sort? Is of Ganymede PIA 25028. And with the initial view, you get this type of perspective. Now, if we just zoom in a bit, we'll see how many surprises we can experience. And as usual, the human eye can pick out very immaculate patterns, sometimes very quickly. And this topography of Ganymede is not any different. Just have a gander at some of these areas on Ganymede and extrapolate on your thoughts a bit. Just notice the amazing designs, symmetry, objects all over the place. And of course, Ganymede is supposed to be an icy planet that could have a liquid medium under the ice, of course, as well as some other moons of Jupiter. But just notice some of these patterns, structures that seem to be inside of these, quote, craters. And as mentioned with the previous panorama, is there some type of civilization here? Just notice the intricate designs, patterns, just about all over the place. And are these created by nature, or is it the architecture and planning of an advanced life form? On Ganymede. Just make a note of these designs. Amazing objects that seem to be well designed, well planned. PIA 25028 with the shadow tool to bring out the various shadowy areas to give some more detail or whatnot. And this is the product. And if we zoom in a bit, let's see what we can find. Just notice these objects inside these so-called craters or whatnot, and designs all over the place that seem to have depth, structure, symmetry, linear patterns, geometry. And are these roofs in the quote ice and snowy surface of Ganymede perhaps some type of roadway, routes or whatnot, on a quote landscape with various levels or whatnot? Just notice the patterns. And you may or may not notice these designs. And after lots of clicking, you can probably notice the clicking when we move to other parts of the panoramas. And in light of all the music in the background or whatnot, and there's that structure that was noted before. Very curious areas of prominence and the like. Are these perhaps vehicles on Ganymede parked or whatnot? And as your eyes get used to the surface of Ganymede, remember this is PIA 25028, and very notable patterns, structures. And after going over these panoramas, PIA 02281 and also PIA 25028, you must admit that there are things here that have implications, specifically various structures with their symmetry and linear patterns and whatnot. And the more you go over these panoramas, you'll have some more detail to probe, and hopefully this will make your ideas about Ganymede come to come to light, so to speak. And all the best in your future space exploration. And until next time, thank you once again for your time.